today's video, we're gonna talk about the 5 things I still like about my 2012 Dodge Ram 1500. It has been about 5 years since I purchased my Dodge Ram 1500, brand new from the dealership. And during those 5 years of ownership, I've collected a lot of thoughts and opinions on the truck, and I'd like to share them with you. These 2012, 2013 trucks have already hit the used cars market, so I hope to provide some useful information and insight for someone who's looking to buy a used Dodge Ram 1500. So here's my point of view as a long-term owner, and the 5 things, and if you watch until the end, you may find out that there's more than 5, but I'll keep that a secret for now. 5 things that I like about the truck. Let's begin with number 1, okay? Number 1 for me has to be the looks of the truck, okay? I understand that this is kind of subjective, but honestly, I think that this truck was light years ahead of the competition when it first came out in 2009. And it still looks great after 8 years. I actually prefer it better than the new restyled Chevys and Fords. Yes, I know, everybody has a taste of their own, so flame suit on, this is my taste. I prefer the Ram 1500's body styling better than the Dodge and better than the competition. Now let's move on to 2. Number 2 for me is how quiet and comfortable this truck really is. I have the crew cab, and you can probably see that in the video, and very often I get compliments on how spacious the cabin is, how the amenities, the features, the luxury of the cabin, and that's kind of a given. This is a crew cab truck, really expensive. I have one of the top of the line trims with most everything that was available at the time, so I get that. I kind of expected this, but what I didn't expect to hear from people who rode in my truck, compliments on how smooth the ride is. And then I took a step back and I realized, well, most of these people don't realize that the ride comfort in these trucks, I'm sorry, in this generation Dodge Rams, comes mainly from the revised suspension in the rear. And without going into too much detail, you know, for those of you that don't know what the revised suspension is about, I'll try to sum it up and simplify it. It's basically a more car-like suspension in the back. What that gives you is the car-like smoothness of the ride without the choppiness of the typical pickup truck ride. Number 3, power, okay? I have the Hemi and I can't complain. There's plenty of power, and yes, it does come up a bit high in the rev range, I'll admit that, but it's still very, very acceptable. I don't tow heavy, but my guess is that this truck will handle with ease trailers anywhere between 7,500 pounds and 9,000 pounds or so. Now, if you plan on using the truck for towing regularly, and towing heavy, that is, you may want to invest into upgrading your rear suspension, your rear springs. Just buy heavier springs and tackle it as a do-it-yourself project on a weekend, and you will be golden. Your truck will ride level when you have a you know, heavy trailer strapped into it. It'll reduce that sagging in the rear, which will give you in terms, it'll give you more confidence when you're towing heavy. Now, number 4 for me is versatility. And the way I will sum versatility for this truck is one word: Ram Box. The Ram Box system is absolutely ingenious, but sadly, in my opinion, Dodge priced it out of the market. So what that means is they didn't market it well. That's one side of the story, but the other side is how expensive this add-on really was. At the time of my purchase, to add the Ram Box system to my truck was about $1,500 or $1,600. This to me is a little too expensive for a mass acceptance of this. Not many people will say, oh yeah, it's a great thing, I've never seen it before, but it looks great on paper and it looks great on videos, and I'll spend $1,600 on it. No, I think Dodge should have priced it out at about $500 to $600 range, and then they would have seen a massive adoption from customers. That set aside, if you come across a used Dodge Ram 1500 that has the Ram Box system, they're kind of unicorns, right? Not many people bought them new with the Ram Box system. So in 4 or 5 years later, when they hit the used cars market, not many of them will be on the used cars market. So if you find one, and granted you like everything else about the truck, get it. You will not regret this decision. Number 5, reliability. Okay, this truck for me has been pretty reliable. I have about 60,000 miles on it, and I use it for daily commuting and all that, and long trips and occasional towing. So I would consider it a light use. Okay, that being said, I've only been to the dealer twice. Both times, ironically, for repairs on the Ram Box system. First time, the spring-operated hinge broke a plastic tab, which the dealer replaced, no problem. They actually replaced the whole housing and mechanism of the Ram Box. And the second time, when I went back, it was due to the discoloration on top of the Ram Box system. The plastic, there's a black grainy plastic that, due to the sun, it gets faded. I think this is a well-known issue. In the newer years, the newer models may not have this problem. I think Dodge may have started using a different plastic. But for me, the dealer couldn't really do anything. They change it, and then 6 months later, it's faded out again. So I took matters in my own hands, and I'll post another video on how I fixed this problem. It's actually very simple, and you can do it yourself again. Not a big deal. I don't consider these really problems to put a dent on the reliability of the truck. Engine-wise, transmission-wise, suspension, body, electronics, everything else works fine. Now, I will say one thing. I do my own maintenance on this truck, and when I change my oil, it's like the dreaded filter replacement, right? I don't know who designed the location of this oil filter, but they need to be fired, okay? This is a massive truck. There's plenty of niches and spaces where you can put this, you can locate it a lot smarter and place it a lot smarter. So when you change your oil, the undercarriage of your truck doesn't get all, dirty with used oil, and you don't burn your hands, and you don't try to squeeze in and get to the filter. It just blows my mind. The second thing, if you happen to be doing the Hemi spark plug replacement, and you will at some point, I think Dodge recommends doing this every 40,000 miles or so. I did mine myself. Do yourself a favor, do the research, watch some videos, buy the necessary parts and tools, take your time, tackle this project on your own. It's not rocket science, and at the end of the day, you will save about $400. If you go to any dealership or any shop, they will charge you anywhere between $350 and $450. In some cases, even $500 to replace your spark plugs. It's not that big of a deal, trust me. Now here's we're gonna kind of move on to my bonus section. I have 2 things in my bonus section. So in the beginning we started with the 5 things that I still like about my truck. I'm adding 2 more, so we're gonna end up with 7 things that I still like about this truck. And let's start with number 1. Number 1 from the bonus section is the sound system. I have the Alpine system in my truck, and it's very, very good. I am no audiophile, but the Alpine system with the sub in the back actually produces this really, really good sound. You get just enough of bass from the sub, and the volume is acceptable. The crispness that comes from the other speakers is good. So yeah, if you see the Alpine logo on your dashboard, that means you're gonna get a very, very good sound system. The second thing from the bonus section has to be the 4x4 system that they put in this truck. It's actually very, very capable. A couple of times I did some light to medium off-roading, and I was really surprised how good the 4x4 system really is. When things got hairy, I put the truck into 4-wheel drive lock, and I actually have I guess 4 options on my dial: 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive auto, 4-wheel drive lock, and 4-wheel drive low. So most of the times I'll keep it in 4-wheel drive auto. When things get hairy, I'll switch it off to 4-wheel drive lock. Off we go. When things get really, really gnarly, I put it down into 4-wheel drive low, and it has no problems getting me through the obstacles. I've never been stuck with this truck. Now just keep in mind that if you end up using 4-wheel drive low, the truck becomes really heavy when it steers. It doesn't want to steer, so make sure you account for that, and you make sure you have enough and plenty of space to do the turns. Also, when you're in 4-wheel drive low, do not drive this truck fast. You will end up breaking your 4-wheel drive system. Again, I don't want to go into too many details. You can learn more about that how it works in different videos that are posted online. And this is kind of sums it up. You have my point of view as a long-term owner. Hopefully this video provides some insight to people looking to buy used Dodge Rams, and they're actually trying to find out that long-term owners' point of view. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, give me thumbs up. If you didn't like something, just put it down in the comment section, let me know. I'll try to improve in the upcoming videos.